Hi, second grade. We are getting ready to finish our novel Tornado today. We'll be reading pages 42 through 49, and then we're all done with the novel. And tomorrow we'll be doing more activities with it, but the reading will be done. So, before we get started talking about what we're going to read in this final part of our novel, let's stop and let's go and think back about what happened in the most recent chapter we read. It was pretty dramatic. So, in the most recent chapter we read, Buddy, something really surprising happened. So, Pete and Tornado, they encountered the family that Tornado had come from before the storm, and Pete had to give Tornado back to that family. And it made him feel so sad because he'd come to think of Tornado as his own pet and love him so much. So it was really hard for him to give Tornado back to the family who had had him first. So we are going to read this final chapter, and we're going to find out what happened after Tornado went back to his first family. So we're going to find out what we think is going to happen. What do you think is going to happen? Think about it, make some predictions, lock them in your brain. All right, we'll have to find out if our predictions are correct when we finish. Before we get started, we've got some vocabulary words that you might not be familiar with. So urge, that's a word we're going to see. Urge just means if you ask someone to do something important. If you urge someone to do something, it means you're asking them to do something important. Like, I urge you to wash your hands. It's important. I'm asking you to do that. And I'm really asking you all to do that. It's important we stay clean and healthy and get rid of all the germies. Miserable, that's another word. Miserable means you're super duper unhappy or uncomfortable. You're miserable. Pete felt miserable when Tornado had to go live back with his other family. Boo-hooing. Boo-hoo. It's just some onomatopoeia for crying. When we cry, it kind of sometimes sounds like we go boo-hoo. And mope, that's something that is on our vocab list. Mope just means move around slowly because you're feeling sad. You're moping. Like that. So those are some words that you are going to see. Now, the end of the storm, chapter 7, this next chapter that is coming up, we are going to find out what happens with Pete's story that he's telling about when he was a kid. And we're also going to find out what happens with the family in the present day who's hiding in the storm cellar because of the twister. So as we read this chapter, there's going to be a part of the chapter where Pete and his family make a decision. Something happens. Somebody shows up at their house, and Pete and his family have to decide what they're going to do. Are they going to send that someone away, or they're going to let that someone stay? So you need to think about, do you think that it is the right decision, or do you think it is the wrong decision that the family makes, and why? Start thinking about that. And then Pete will finish telling his story about when he was a kid, and it will go back to the present day where Pete is the grown-up telling the story, and we'll find out what happens to the family that has been hiding in the cellar. After you finish reading, you've got your Blackline Master 10 page in your novel reading packet. And what you're going to do is you're going to describe it. Things described in the story. You're going to read the list of things that were described in the story, read the descriptions. So we've got a box with the things and then a list of descriptions with tiny little boxes next to it. You're going to have to match the thing described in the story with the description of it. okay? It gives you in the description, it gives you the page number and the text. So you have the text with you. Go back and find it. Match that. And then the star number 2 part, it says on the back of this page, draw a picture to go with one of the descriptions. You can, I think that they're double-sided, so there is no back of the page. So if you have if you have some scrap paper or some drawing paper or a whiteboard or a little chalkboard or something like that, you can draw it there for extra practice. I know we can't put it in our packet, but you guys are really good artists, so I know that you'll do a great job drawing whatever. If you want to take a picture of your art and post it on our Padlet, that would be an awesome thing to share with your friends because we're all reading the same novel at our own houses. Then we've got our journal pages, journal page 7 and journal page 8. Journal page 7 asks you, have you ever been really sad, but then everything turned out all right? Tell what happened. So you're going to tell me in complete sentences, good, descriptive, capital letter, ending mark, awesome, possum sentences about a time that you've been sad about something, and then everything turned all right. So you tell me about the thing that happened, how it made you feel, and then how it got fixed, and then how that made you feel. Okay, I want good details. I don't want sloppy 1 sentence, 2 sentence. I want 3, 4, or more sentences, at least 3 or 4 sentences. And then journal page 8 asks, I'd ask Pete if Tornado slept on his bed at night. What questions would you ask Pete about Tornado? So there you could make a list of the questions you want to ask, or you could write it in like sentence form. It's your choice. And then tomorrow we will talk a little bit more about the novel. All right, friends, I will see you later. Bye.